Well, hi again, everyone. We are back, Sean and myself. We're savages in the savages box. How you
Oh
doing,
yeah,
Sean? Welcome back.
welcome back. And
Just enough time to have a little dinner, a little something to keep us over, but nothing's going to hold us down, man. That was a
oh
great
yeah,
show with Phil Cuzzy. And of course, the incredible breaking news that he gave us that after 30 years, aside from Major League Baseball, nobody knew he is retiring. Everyone, and he said it right here on YankeeMania. Wow, what a coup that was, huh, Sean?
oh yeah. I mean, you talking about surprise? Hey,
Yeah, I think that's what we keep doing over here, guys. We just keep surprising. It's amazing. What a day, and we are waiting. We are going to have Howie Karpin in the flesh in a little while. The typing, everything should be back. We are back to order. Okay, great. I couldn't get on the chat. Did a view and a like? Well, thank you. Well, you can do that now if it's possible, Cruz. I appreciate it. The It was fixed, so I'm hoping you heard the show. We got a nice surprise, Cruz, that Phil Cuzzy announced his retirement from umpiring right on our show tonight. You know, it is unbelievable. Yeah, the Yankees did make some headway, and this guy looks like it looks good. Hopefully, thank you, Cruz. It was a very good show. I'm so happy that everybody decided to type in our email, and I was able to get a lot of questions out. So, so we'll see how everything goes, everyone. Yeah, it was a good pickup. What do you think, Sean, on that pickup?
yeah. I mean, I think it's a good pickup. We got a nice speed guy who, he can string together hits. Um,
I wonder why
and
he
I
was
believe
let
he's a
go,
contact
though.
that,
I
huh?
wonder why he was let go. It doesn't make sense to me, though.
I don't know. They sometimes teams just make decisions because they want to go a different route money wise. But hey, their loss, our gain. you know. And if this helps us with stockpiling for a trade, hey, I'm all for it.
Yeah, me too. No question about it. I mean, they're just stockpiling and replenishing the minor leagues. I mean, I can only think of one thing: either they really believe that Spencer Jones is going to come up and stay up, or get traded because they're replenishing AAA. So something is up. Either
Yeah.
they really trust this year Spencer Jones and Dominguez, or is this preluded to some trades? Uh,
Then the
Tell.
other thing I'm thinking is there was a big gap in previous years between the starters and the bench guys, and the depth guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Cashman's been working really hard on closing that gap.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. And hey, good evening, Michael. What's going on? I hope you got to check out the interview this afternoon. I know we had a lot of people on. I really do. And again, the apologies that the chat wasn't working. But quick thought of contacting the show at joeyankees28 at gmail.com. And that saved the day because all your
Yep.
questions were coming out of there. And they were great questions, too. Excellent questions. So thank you, everybody, for that. And thank you for the likes. Now you could go back and put the likes on it. We really appreciate it. And it's not every day that you get somebody in the news that's going to give a something like they're going to retire on your show. So that was it was it was surprising, and it was great. And we're going to miss him as an umpire. I'll tell you that, guys. We
Yeah.
really we do. If you didn't catch the early show, we do have some sad news in the baseball world. The Detroit Tigers lost a legend from years ago, and it's very, very sad. Mickey Lolich, at 81 years old, has passed away. He won 217 games for the Tigers, a mainstay there. And also, he was in the World Series. He pitched in a lot of good key games for the Tigers. He also played 1 year for the New York Mets back in 1976, I believe it was. And the baseball world and the Detroit Tigers lost a good one there. So our condolences here at YankeeMania to the Lolich family, to his friends and everyone, and the Detroit Tigers. You know, you lost a very, very nice man at 81 years old.
And speaking of the Tigers, news
Oh,
just broke
was
that.
there any news on Struble with the arbitration?
Yeah, the ruling is expected Thursday, but they're going for a record-setting arbitration hearing. So stay tuned. So I was saying, expecting the ruling Thursday. So we'll find out how much he's gonna get awarded or which side is gonna win. So that's gonna be.
I can't see him losing. To be totally honest with you, I really believe he's going to win that, and I'm thinking between 30 and 35 million he's going to get.
Yeah, he did ask for 32 million. But
Yeah.
the Tigers were saying 19. So
No, Michael has a question. I wonder if Nitin knew that because was retiring. No, he did not. It was very. The only people that knew was Major League Baseball in late December.
yeah,
And he didn't want to go with fanfare, but he figured, what the heck? Because I never asked that question. What would you like to do afterwards? You know, after your play, what do you want to be known for? Something came over to me, and you know that happens to me. And when that happens, boom, it's crazy. It's absolutely insane. So, and I asked it, and he said, "Funny you should ask me that question." And I don't think I lost my powers, guys. Here we go again. I did say the Yankees were going to make a move too today. If you heard the show yesterday, and they did. I mean, it wasn't a sexy move, but it could be. It could be prelude to a very, very, very big trade down the line, because they're stockpiling that AAA like crazy. I mean, they got a lot of guys that are going to be sent down, and so either they are convinced that Spencer Jones is going to is going to come up and stay up, or they're convinced that they're going to they have a trade in mind. These are some of the things I'm looking forward to be asking Howie when he comes up. So that's a lot, as you know. Howie's just incredible with everything he's covered, along with books that he's written, and he's been on the show here. He's like a brother to us. We love him. And oh wow, speak of the devil, if he gives me a thumbs up, we'll bring him up. Howie. All right, here we go, everybody. Get ready. Get your Yankee questions ready, and anything you want to talk about. And here we go. The one and the only, the amazing Howie Karpin. How you doing, Howie?
You got to stop with these extravagant intros. I'm not deserving.
Oh, yes, you are, my friend. Well, we saw you last year, so Happy New Year to you, the family, the little ones, the grand ones, everybody. How are they doing?
Good. Everybody's fine. Thanks.
You had a good time when you went away?
Yeah, it was it was interesting.
Well, that's good. Everything's interesting. Cool. So, Howie, what has anything surprised you at well, first of all, condolences to the Detroit Tigers with Mickey Lolich news. That was sad.
Yeah, I saw him pitch. So
yeah, we all did. I definitely did. Sure.
Yeah.
Very good pitcher.
1968, he won the World Series MVP.
Yeah, he was a good pitcher. He also pitched for the Mets one year. I believe it was 76.
Right.
If I'm not mistaken. And so baseball, a little morning today. A very, very, very good pitcher, and he held the fort with Denny McClain, and so it was is heartbreaking. But 81 years old. Again, condolences from NYMania people and the whole crew to the Lolich family. So. But now getting on a few things. What a day, Howie. Obviously, Bellinger came back. Wherever you want to start, by all means, just start. So
Well,
go
you're
ahead.
the host. You pick the start.
Well, let's start. Well, I guess we can start. And of course, Sean Browning is with us, Howie.
Hey, Sean.
Just to let you know.
Hey,
Well, let's start with the Yanks, of course, and the Cody Bellinger coming back, and all these stockpiling of minor leaguers or potential major leaguers leads for me to believe something is going to happen. What do you think?
Well, they have a logjam in the outfield, so that Spencer Jones or Jason Dominguez could be on the trade block right now. And I'll be honest with you, I won't be happy if they trade Dominguez. I think too many people have given up on him too quick.
Right.
He's got this narrative that he's a terrible fielder. Look, he's not a Gold Glover out there, but he's only 23 years old. You got to give him time to develop. And I think the Yankees shortchanged him. And I hope I'm wrong, but I think they're making a mistake playing Grisham in center field. I don't think he's going to duplicate what he did last year. Basically 1 year out of his resume. The Yankees made him the qualifying offer. They thought there was a market out there for him, and there really wasn't. They should have gave the qualify. If they really didn't want to pay a qualifying offer, they should have gave it to Devin Williams, who would never have accepted it, and then the Yankees could have ended up with a draft pick. But this is what they're going with Bellinger, Grisham, and Judge in the outfield. Jones or Dominguez could be the fourth outfielder. You got to see how spring training goes along. Obviously, injuries will tell a story if they do occur. But, right now you look at this Yankee lineup, who is their leadoff guy? Is Trent Grisham their leadoff man? He's not a good leadoff batter. Again, to me, they're spinning their wheels a little bit. They had to get Bellinger back. Thankfully, they did. But to me, this lineup's the same as last year. Even though they led the league in runs scored, that was a misnomer. That was a misleading statistic. They blew out a lot of bad teams. They weren't that great against the better teams, and it showed in the playoffs. So are they going to be better? I hope so. I mean, their pitching is pretty good. It lines up pretty well. Maybe they get a couple of young arms that make the staff. In the meantime, this kid Elmer Rodriguez is getting rave reviews in the minors, and so is Carlos Lagrange.
Right.
But, they're gonna get Cole back. They're gonna get Rodon back. Their pitching could be pretty solid. I still worry a little bit about this lineup.
Yeah, I know we've been floating around the idea of having Caballero. If they don't get a true leadoff guy, having Caballero as a leadoff guy with either Rice or Bellinger second and Judge third.
What do you think?
I hope it's Judge third. I'm tired of seeing him hit second because he comes up too many times with nobody on base. It's almost like they're not maximizing his potential. Screw this analytical formula of, he bats second and he comes up another 18 times for the season. Big freaking deal. If he comes up with nobody on base, those home runs are solo shots. And if you look at the stats over the last few years, Yankees hit a lot of homers, but a major percentage of those are solo shots. You don't win games with solo shots. You win games by putting up crooked numbers, especially in the first inning. I'm always a guy who believes in batting my best hitter third because that gives him two chances to come up with a man on in the first inning. And Joe has heard me say this before. The first inning is the only inning that a manager can control who comes to bat. The rest of it is chance because of how the game goes. So to not take advantage of the first inning is a real, flaw for any offense, in my opinion.
Yeah,
go ahead, Sean. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, and we also had that big problem of situational hitting. Like we had runners on second and third with no outs or one out.
Right. Yeah.
And then we failed to get them in.
big problem. I hate to refer back to the championship teams of the late 90s, but that was almost automatic with those teams, right? They got the guy in every single time. And Sean's right. This team just failed in those situations so many times. And that's why you can't do that against the better teams. You may get away with it against the crappy clubs, but against the good teams, especially, the way they played against Toronto last year, they cost themselves a lot of situations. I can remember at least 5 times they had bases loaded, no out, and didn't score any runs. I mean, those are wasted opportunities, and they end up killing you at the end of a game.
Yeah. Everything you said adds up, Howie. So right now with what they have now, here's another thing. If Paul DeJean gets in the lineup, I believe he should be the leadoff hitter. I know he's not the greatest player, but you know what, Howie? He's a situational hitter. He hits the ball to the right side. He'll get runners over. This is the stuff that we don't have, that the Yankees don't have right now. And that worries me. And that leads us to T-Robe's question. The thing I worry about, if we don't have contact hitters, once they can get on base, how do we get them home?
Yeah, well, that's what Sean was saying, and that's where you need the contact guys. A guy who can give you at least a fly ball to get that sacrifice fly late in the game to maybe snap a tie or even tie a game at home. Just think about this. How many times now since they've instituted this, controversial runner on second rule in the 10th inning, how many times have the Yankees blown home games? If you're at home with that kind of rule, you should win at least 85 to 90% of those games. Yep. That's a huge advantage for the home team, and the Yankees fail to capitalize on it. They've been poor in that department, and that basically goes back to contact hitting and situational hitting. Yeah, Paul DeJong's going to have to make the team, Joe. He's not an automatic. Maybe your idea has some semblance to it, but again, where's the rest of the roster? Austin Wells, he had a bad year last year. I expect a little more from Austin Wells. I'm not down on him like a lot of people are. I think he got caught up too much in his defense, and I think he was injured for most of last year. I think he had a bad shoulder. He's a better hitter than that. He has a track record of being a hitter. So I expect improvement from that department. What's Volpe going to be when he comes back? As Sean mentioned, Caballero is going to be the shortstop to start the season. Who knows? Maybe they lead him off because he's got speed and is a stolen base threat. That's another thing the Yankees haven't taken advantage of. They improved a little over the last 2 years, but they don't take advantage of the stolen base. They get caught up too much in these analytical formulas, and it ends up costing you a lot of ball games. You got to see how the game plays out. You can't script the game in baseball. You got to see how it plays out and get a feel for doing things that help you win. And a lot of times they end up shooting themselves in the foot because of their analytical beliefs.
Howie, I'm sorry. I wanted to ask you, I know we're talking about hitting, but there's one pitcher out there that I think could really help the Yankee staff right now with innings and will save the bullpen a little bit. And that would be Chris Bassett. What's your idea? What do you feel? How do you feel about Chris Bassett for a year or two?
Well, if he comes cheap, maybe I take a shot on him. If you remember, though, he improved with Toronto the last few years. When he was with the Mets, he had a reputation that you could rile him up, especially by stepping out of the box. And now you can't do that anymore like they used to. I scored that game against the Padres with the Mets in the wild card series in 2022. Right. Bob Melvin was managing the Padres. He had Bassett the year before in Oakland. I never saw so many batters step out of the box to upset a guy's rhythm. You can't do that nowadays with the pitch clock. Right. He was pretty effective in Toronto. As an inexpensive pickup, that's a decent idea. I'd like to see one of these young guys make the squad. They have pretty good depth at pitching once they get Cole and Rodon back. I don't know if they want to add another arm in that regard. They were talking about it. I don't know how much more they need starting wise. Obviously, look, Schlittler looks like he could be really good, but he's going to have to go through the league now and maybe make those adjustments, just like any young pitcher. So you don't know what's going to be, can he make those adjustments? He certainly has the makeup and the stuff to do it. The more pitching depth you can add, the better. So yeah, as an inexpensive option, I would maybe take a shot there. Sure.
Well, and
So
then the Yankees did add a pitcher through the trade, the young Ryan Weathers from Miami. And I know a lot of fans were surprised that we didn't get their big guys.
Who,
Well, what do
Peralta?
you think?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Milwaukee.
Peralta and Alcantara.
Milwaukee asked for the moon for Peralta, and he's only a 1-year guy right now without an extension. I think it's a good gamble, Ryan Weathers. He's got a nice arm. I think it's worth a shot. Also, this kid they got from Colorado, who had the high ERA pitching at Coors, but he's got a live arm and he's young, so maybe
Yes.
you can mold him. He may end up being effective out of the bullpen. And I've made this suggestion before. Maybe convert Luis Heel to a bullpen option, so he doesn't have to throw multiple innings. So, they've got options there pitching wise. Again, their lineup's still going to have to come through. How much more can you expect out of Judge? He's had a couple of great years in a row. They're going to expect a lot out of him again. And he needs protection in that lineup. And right now, they're a little short in that department, if you ask me.
Right.
well,
I mean,
yeah, you're right. But I still want to believe in this team, Howie. What I like, I mean, looking at it half full, I mean, I think they have probably the best outfield in the game defensively. I mean, I think we'd have to give them that with Bellinger and Grissom and Aaron Judge. But I mean, you can't get too much better than that, really. What do you think?
Well, Grisham took a step back defensively last year. It's a good outfield. It's not bad. I wouldn't know if I'd call it the best in the game. But, what's that going to do for you on offense? Yeah, they need defense. They certainly have to be a defensive team, to be a complete team. They need the defense. But, again, where's this offense going to come from besides Bellinger and Judge? You hope Grisham does what he did last year. So we're kind of like spinning our wheels. I mean, third base, McMahon's real good defensively. Is he going to hit a little better than he hit, when he came to the Yankees? Second base, Chisholm could be playing for a contract. He had some good numbers last year. Ben Rice hit last year, but is he going to get caught up too much in playing D because he's got to make an adjustment now to playing first base? Right. Are they going to be limited at that position with the glove? So there's still some question marks here that need to be answered. And unfortunately, the teams in the division got better. Toronto picked up Dylan Cease. Boston picked up Ranger Suarez. They're going to be more dangerous this time around. Are the Yankees going to be better against them? They have to perform a little better in their division than they did the past 2 years.
Yeah, and I just can't see first of all, this spring training, Howie, is going to be very interesting. There's going to be a lot of people fighting for jobs. That's number one. And I really believe during spring training, if they don't do it now in the next few days, we're probably going to see some movement one way or the other. I don't want to see Dominguez go either, but I think unfortunately, I think he's going to be traded.
Well, if we see some movement, you better hope it's the right moves. Just to make a move for movement doesn't make sense.
Well, Cashman, he's not going to make a move for just to make a move. You know him, what he said. And the thing that is kind of puzzling is he said they have a bargain in Trent Grissom. How is $22 million from $5 million a bargain? I still don't understand that statement, Howie.
Well, he's measuring it against the other outfielders like Kyle Tucker, and the money they got. But you're right. I mean, he's a bargain if he gives you another 30 homers like he did last year. Speaking of solo homers, he had a lot of solo homers last year and failed a lot in the clutch when they really needed a base hit. So again, I know I'm critical of him and I'm hard on him, but I'm not a big believer in Trent Grisham. I'm sorry. I thought the Yankees could have done better in that regard. They seem to be ignoring the free agent market more so than they ever did. I don't understand it. They say Hal's cheap. I don't buy it. I don't think it's Hal so much. I think that sometimes they're too enamored with their analytical formulas and the way they approach the game. If they don't change their approach, they're not going to go far, in this division. They really have to get back to some baseball basics like they used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Okay, so
No, I was saying I think that Cashman is leaning too much with what Fishman is saying. The analytics department is having too much say in the front office moves because you see, like sometimes they'll give a young guy like Volpe a full ride, but then Dominguez they'll give him sparing time, or other you saw it with other guys, and then like you said, the free agents like hit and miss market.
Yeah, well, they gave Volpe a free ride because they never backed themselves up with any insurance behind Volpe.
right.
With Dominguez case, they had other outfielders, but Volpe was basically a one-man gang. They had who was their backup shortstop before Caballero came? It was really
Peraza.
nobody. So they were kind of stuck with him for a long time. And again, I was pushing for them to sign a guy like Bregman for third base. He would have been a nice fit for the Yankees. That's a contact guy and a winner. They don't seem to be focusing on those kind of players anymore. And it's real, and look at what's gone on with the international scouting department. They had to get rid of the other guy. There were things going on in that department. They ended up losing two highly coveted international prospects who didn't want to sign with them, including one that went to the Mets, a shortstop prospect, 16 years old, who the scouts are raving about. You got to hope that doesn't burn them down the road. So there's been some things happening within the organization that have to be unsettling at this point.
I agree. Howie Katie has a question for you, Howie. What is your favorite part of being an author as well as reporting for the Yankees?
Well, Katie, I enjoy writing a lot. It's like kind of a hobby, and I write sports books, and so that's my passion, especially baseball. I've done a number of baseball books, and you put the two together, and it's a perfect storm for me, especially with the computer nowadays, because you can do all your research on the computer. In the old days, you used to have to go to the library and spend hours there getting your research. But I enjoy reporting, I enjoy writing, and I've been blessed that I've been able to do this for a very long time.
Yeah, and he does it very well, guys, as you well know. Cruise Control asks about Andujar. What do you think about getting Andujar as a right-handed masher?
I don't know. I mean, they were down that road before with him, and that was a strange situation. I could see them bringing in Goldschmidt to back up Rice. At least he can still play some defense, and he could come in late innings as a defensive replacement for Ben Rice or be part of a platoon. So yeah, they need another right-handed bat in that lineup. It's amazing. A couple of years ago, they were two right-handed, needed lefties. Now they've transitioned to being two left-handed to where they need a right-handed bat. But he's kind of on the mark. They need another right-handed bat in that lineup. Luckily, there are not that many lefties in the division, although Ranger Suarez now joined the Red Sox, so that's another left-hander. And then you got Garrett Crochet, who they had a lot of trouble with every time they faced him last year. So, yeah, they're going to need a right-handed bat to emerge at least, or maybe make a move for a right-handed bat.
Bronx Bomber says, what about Ty France?
I don't know how much they believe in a Ty France. I mean, he's good against lefties. He plays first base. He's played a little around the infield. It's a good suggestion. I don't know. It depends on how they view these players. I mean, as fans, we view them differently than what their thinking is. They don't want to spend a lot of money on these guys for sure. And, he's a guy that may be available. He may be looking for a job, so he may take an inexpensive contract. Maybe worth a shot to bring him into spring camp for sure.
Do you think that he could have a resurgence? I mean, I know his rookie year he broke out, but then he's kind of like came back down to earth since then.
Yeah, he hasn't really made the adjustments, and the pitchers have made the adjustments on him. I think they expected a little more power out of him, and he wasn't really providing that. As far as a resurgence, again, you bring him in, you take a shot. This is the time to take shots on guys, and you hope something clicks for sure. I tell you, another name out there, and I would take a shot on this guy is Randall Grichuk. He hits pounds left-handers, and I would definitely bring him in as in case Stanton gets hurt, which is inevitable almost every year. So he could certainly fill in as a DH and maybe spell some guys in the outfield.
Oh yeah, I did it. I actually did a short on it today. I think it was yesterday. And the big response. I mean, you know, the Yankees probably will lose 2 less games with him on the roster because he's a Yankee killer masher. Forget it. He's absolutely insane against the Yankees. Not
yeah,
normal.
he is.
You
Well,
really not
he was
normal.
also a Red Sox killer too.
Yeah, and that's what the Yankees are lacking because years ago they used to get the players that they needed to beat the teams in front of them or near them, whatever. And they went against that now. And Howie, you know as well as I do, that's what they did. I mean, you know, getting an Ed Figueroa who used to beat the Red Sox, Mickey Rivers hit very well against teams like that. They always went for the guys that they needed in that lineup. Now it's just okay. We'll get this guy, we'll get that guy, and it's pot luck, and you can't do that nowadays. You just can't.
Well, if you remember it again, we going back to the championship years. You know, they didn't really have a need for bench depth because their starting lineup was so good, and they were never going to really pinch hit for guys. Nowadays, you know, they need more bench depth for sure. You know, to maybe bring in a righty to pinch hit for Ryan McMahon against a tough lefty and things like that. So they're in a little different situation than they were in the old days.
Another guy we had on the show a few weeks back was Homer Bush. If you remember in '98, man, every time he came in, he found his way to home plate. I mean, they put him in. He was amazing. Stole second. Somehow he made his way to home plate. And that's a guy that they've been missing. Now, I'm hoping they have that in Oswaldo Cabrera.
Yeah, people don't realize how much they missed him last year when he went out. He is that kind of, you know, spark plug that can steal a base and do certain things for you. That was a big loss when he went down last year.
And
people don't realize. So getting him back is going to be a help. Homer Bush was a guy, you know, who gave them a different dimension from what they had on the rest of that roster. Cabrera basically provides the same kind of dimension that they could use on this roster.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, in '98, we also had another guy that was awesome, backup middle infielder, Luis Sojo.
Yeah, well,
Vizcayana.
Yeah, he Vizcayana they got during the season, you know, that year. I think it was 2000. But yeah, Soho was a nice pickup, and they had Tim Raines on that team and Chili Davis. You know, that was an amazing team. I mean, that's a once in a generation type team, obviously, because of what they did.
I mean, in '98, you know, Chuck Knobloch was still playing out of his mind.
Yeah, they needed a leadoff guy, and he was the guy. And then Jeter batted second behind him. Jeter, perfect setup. Knobloch on first. Jeter goes to right field. All of a sudden, it's first and third.
Right, and before you blink an eye, before you can make a sandwich, they're up 2-0 already.
Yeah,
and that team was just once in a lifetime, like you said. Once in a lifetime.
I mean, the heart of our order was O'Neill, Posada, Williams. I mean, O'Neill, Williams, Posada, and then you mix in Chili Davis. You know, all those guys.
You're not even saying Tino Martinez.
And then Tino was on there too. But I mean, you just mix in those guys. But I mean, you knew what 3 through 5 was like. Yeah, guys that knew how to play the game.
Just think about the guys you laid out. The balance. You had O'Neill lefty, Bernie switch hit, Posada lefty, Tino lefty. You know, Chuck Knobloch righty, Derek Jeter righty, Scott Brocious righty. They had balance. That lineup clicked. It was a nice mesh. You know, you know what's amazing about that team? Not many of their guys led the league in any category. Right. But they put together such a dangerous lineup because it meshed, and they don't seem to be following that same game plan nowadays.
Right, and then Posada also switched it, though he was stronger from the left side.
Right. Yeah. And he wasn't great defensively. He was okay. He was average, but he made up for it with his offense.
Yeah.
Howie, I want to switch gears a little bit over to Queens. There's a lot of rumors now that about Beatty or Vientos is going to be dealt possibly to the Pirates. Is it a smart thing right now for them to I mean, they have a pretty nice lineup, contact hitters. Would you break that up?
Well, Vientos right now doesn't fit in that lineup. Where's he playing?
Well, that's a good question. You'll have to play the outfield, really, right?
If
Outfield.
they may be transitioning Beatty to the outfield. They've
Well,
got their own issues. I mean, their lineup looks better. Certainly, Bichette's a nice addition offensively, but you're playing two guys on the corners who are inexperienced at those positions. And
Yes.
here's another thing: the shadow of Alonso is going to be hanging over that team, because if he's producing in Baltimore and Polanco's not producing in Queens, there's going to be a lot of outcry for Alonso. Tino Martinez went through it with Mattingly.
Yeah.
But Mattingly stepped down. Mattingly wasn't, snubbed as a free agent or traded. Mattingly basically opened the door for them to get another first baseman. But
Yep.
Tino still felt the pressure of replacing him, even though the Yankees didn't really snub Mattingly. Mattingly, said he'd had enough because of his back. And remember early on, Tino in '96, he
Yep.
was under a lot of pressure. Polanco's going to be under that same kind of pressure from the Met fans, especially if Alonso's putting up numbers in Baltimore.
And we all know. I mean, I'm sure you remember, Howie, what ticked Tino into being Tino with that grand slam against the Orioles on that rainy night, that Tuesday night. I'll never forget that
extra
game.
innings.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I remember the guy saying, "Welcome to the Bronx, Tino Martinez."
Yeah, well, they were also winning. If the Mets are winning, that'll alleviate some of the pressure. The Yankees were also showing they had a chance to win in '96. So if the Mets are winning, that'll take some of the pressure off. But that shadow of Alonso is going to really hang over the 2026 team.
Do you like that Luis Roberts? I'm actually happy the Yankees didn't get him.
Well, he's not reliable to stay on the field. If he stays on the field, we'll see. He's still not that old. He's only 28, but he doesn't stay on the field. He's sort of like a center field version of Stanton. He doesn't stay healthy. If he stays healthy, they needed a right-handed stick in that lineup, and I don't think they'll be asking too much of him. I think there are other guys that it was good for him that they signed Bichette. That'll take a little pressure off him. Soto's in his second year with them. He started off slow last year. I expect them to have a big year for the Mets, Soto, this time around. Lindor's a year older. You don't know what you're going to get out of him. And Marcus Semion's 36 years old. They're expecting him to be like a 30-year-old player. He's lost a step or two at second base, and he hasn't been hitting the last 2 years. So that their infield is really 3 out of the 4 spots defensively are kind of risky. So.
And what about the bullpen? The bullpen, all right, they got a great arm in that Peralta deal, but do you really trust Williams and do you trust Weaver at this point?
From what we saw last year, Williams is a roller coaster ride. Just every time he came in, there's usually a guy on base. The Met fans got spoiled by Diaz dominance. Diaz came in, he was almost Rivera-like, 1, 2, 3, and see you later. This guy's going to put people on. He's going to have your heart in your mouth watching some of these ninth innings, and who knows how that transition's going to be. Maybe Luke Weaver ends up being the closer for them when all is said and done. So, they're rolling the dice here by not picking up Diaz again. Again, Williams is going to be under pressure because of Diaz's shadow.
Yeah, but what really surprised me, though, in the Mets is they've been snubbing a lot of their homegrown guys. I mean, McNeil got traded. The other guy, homegrown, Nemo got traded, and Alonso got snubbed, and they pretty much lowballed him 2 years in a row.
I can't understand what they do with Alonso.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I never thought Nemo was more than a 4th outfielder at times. I mean, he put up some numbers. He hustled all the time. Give him credit. Nice guy. Really sweet guy. I never thought of him as a really solid outfielder. Yet, he was playing center field, and that wasn't his spot. And then he was weak defensively in left field. But he put up some numbers for them. He wasn't a good leadoff man because he never really stole. He didn't give you any speed threat. McNeil, it was time for them to get rid of McNeil. No great loss. Alonso's the big loss there. That's the one.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can't get too emotional and hang on to your so-called homegrown guys. You got to move on. But the way they would, portraying it that they wanted run run prevention. And then you're putting two guys on the corners who defensively you don't know what you're going to get. So I don't know what their strategy was in that regard. They seem to be a better team on paper heading into this season. Peralta will be a big help. He's a guy, gives them a little bit of an ace at the top of the rotation. Nolan McLean was terrific at the end of last year, but again, like Schlittler, he's going to have to go through the league and maybe make adjustments. I'm not that high on Jonah Tong, to be honest with you. I think his fastball is straight as an arrow, and he comes over the top. That's almost meat for major league hitters. He's got to have another pitch. He's got to develop something he can get the lefties out with. They traded Brandon Sproat, who had a nice arm. So, they're going to be a competitor for the division. They're going to be right in it. I think they'll make the playoffs this time around. I'd be shocked if they didn't with this team unless they're besieged by injuries. But, again, they're rolling the dice at some positions. They hope Francisco Alvarez will finally develop. I don't think he was bad as he was last year. I think he's a better hitter than that. But here's another guy who tends to get hurt, a little too often. So, again, we'll see. If they stay healthy, I don't know what their bench is all about. Maybe they keep Beatty for their bench or Vientos for their bench, but maybe they pick up somebody from the Pirates that could be useful or another team that's looking for these guys. So we'll see where they're at. Again, they're not in an easy division. The Braves are going to be better. The Phillies are always the Phillies. And then you got the Dodgers hanging over them in the NL West. So we'll see.
Right.
Don't forget about the Padres either. They're not a bad team, technically, really, but.
Well, and then the D-backs always seem to be a team that's in it.
Always make a little bit of noise. Yes, yeah, they definitely do. But I don't know. Again, with spring training coming on, and Howie, by the way, when we're going to be doing segments like of every team, sort of, when we get to the Yankees and Mets, if you're available before the season, we'd love to have you on and critique what's going on and what's coming up, what you think is coming up north with the Yankees.
Okay. That
would be great. Now we're going to tackle everyone, and we will get to a few more Yankee questions, but we have to. There are hockey fans here that are just waiting and salvaging to find out what's Howie's take on what's happening in Madison Square Garden. Howie, what happened? And what's next for this team?
Well, we're going through another period of transition. A lot of people are upset that they traded Artemi Panarin. To bury this trade the way it's situated, the Rangers were stuck. Panarin had a no movement clause. He basically could dictate the terms of where he's going to be sent. So the Rangers were kind of handcuffed. They weren't going to hang on to him and let him walk as a free agent in July. So the fact they got something back, even though it's not a great draft pick, to expect a first-round pick, for a return was really unrealistic. Now, this kid they got, 20 years old, Liam Greentree, I'm hearing is a very good prospect. I haven't seen him play a lot, to be honest with you. I just see some statistics. He was averaging a point a game in the OHL, and he's only 20 years old. So he's 6'3". He's a forward left-handed shot. I saw some video of him. He looks like he's got a dynamite wrist shot and a dynamite slap shot. So, maybe they got something here. I don't blame them for not hanging on to Panarin if they're breaking it down. But this is the second time they're breaking it down in 7 years. We went through this in 2018. Now, I think the Rangers made a big mistake when they got rid of Jeff Gordon and John Davidson. They were on the right track. They were the ones that signed Panarin. They knew after that Tom Wilson incident in 2021, at the end of the 2021 season when he leveled Artemi Panarin, they knew they needed to get more physical. But then Dolan, the owner, James Dolan, pulled the plug on those two and brought in Drury. Now, Drury is under the gun here. I mean, he's going to be able to rebuild this team. Are they on the right track? What kind of free agents are they going to sign? And the young guys haven't panned out. Lafreniere is really not developed, a number one pick. You could say he's a bust. Capo Caco never developed. I never thought the Rangers used him the right way anyway. They were playing him on the third and fourth line. They never gave him a chance with the top six, and then they ended up trading him to Seattle. So those are two wasted picks over 2 straight years where the two guys didn't develop, you know? And they're probably going to be in the lottery this time around. And by the way, this kid who was saying it was going to be the #1 pick from Penn State. I forgot his first name is Gavin. I don't remember his last name. He got into trouble over the weekend. He got into an assault case where he basically, slugged the guy at a bar and now faces assault charges. So sure enough, with the Ranger luck, they'll probably get the #1 pick and they won't be able to take him.
I think you're right. Cruise Control asks, Rangers rebuild. Panarin trade was tough to lose. What about Mika? Is he next?
Well, let me just say this about Panarin. Panarin was, slowing down. He wasn't totally the same player as, when he was a great signing. He helped them get to the conference finals. Don't forget, he wasn't great in those playoffs when they had a chance to get to the Stanley Cup final. And, he's a little older now. Yeah, maybe he surges with the Kings. Mika could be next, but he also has a no movement clause. So they're kind of like up in the air with him. They're a little handcuffed. I don't know if they're going to be able to move him by this trade deadline.
Will they have the flexibility money-wise, Howie, to do damage in the summertime? What do you think?
I don't know. That's a good question. I'm not sure their salary cap situation. Panarin will come off after this season, although according to the reports, 50% of his salary is going to be applied to the salary cap. But I think that comes off once the season ends. So I don't know where they're at with that situation. They don't have a whole lot. Igor Shesterkin's contract's pretty large. They certainly miss him right now. To at least give them some W's. But they're in a bad situation here. I mean, I feel bad for the fans because they're paying big money to see this team play, and it's not a good product. I mean, you watch them some nights, they look like they lack effort, they lack mental fortitude, like they give up a goal, and then a minute later there's a second goal and then a third. I mean, it's unbelievable, their lack of mental fortitude. That it's a little bit on the coach, but this is a first-year coach. When are you going to get rid of him and then bring another guy in? This guy's won Stanley Cups. You got to give him a chance. They don't have the personnel right now to be a good team, and their young guys are not developing like they thought. Brendan Hoffman, Matt Rempe's not a player. I'm sorry. All he does is bang bodies. Big deal. And Gabe Perreault at least shows some signs of being a player. So they got to get some of these young guys to click, and it ain't happening. They may trade Vincent Trocheck because he brings value back, and I'd hate to see him go because I thought he should have been the captain, to be honest with you, over JT Miller.
You think they're going to keep Miller?
Yeah, they're going to keep Miller. They invested a lot in him. I didn't do cartwheels when they brought him in here, but at least he plays his butt off. I'll say that.
Yeah, you're right. Cruz has another question for you, Howie. I live in South Florida. Love the Panthers as well. Do you think the Rangers will get a lot of draft picks and get back to relevance? Rangers will rebuild mode for a while, looks like.
Yeah, it's going to take a couple of years. And again, if they do get back the picks, I'm sure that's what they're going to be looking for in some of these deals where they have control. Where the guy doesn't have a no movement clause. But are they going to be able to develop and pick the right guys? They haven't shown that over the years, like we were talking about Lafreniere and Kakko. Their guys have just not developed. So you got to wonder, what their system is and how they're going to develop these young players that they're going to need to get back to relevance.
So do you see right now that they'd be building around Igor? Or do you or Fox or where is the key here? Where do you build around at this point? I mean, I don't even know if Drury's going to make it past the season. To be honest with you,
he may not with this owner. Fox and Shesterkin are right now the stable points of the roster. Fox has had a rough year. He's been in rough 2 years. he's been injured now the last 2 years. He's not a big guy. You got to pair him with a physical defenseman, to make him effective. But, those are the two guys they're going to they say this is a retool, not a rebuild.
Yeah, you read the paperwork that.
Yeah, to me that's just sugarcoating what it is, a rebuild, and to let the fans down easy. A retool. It's the same thing. Come on.
Well, they better not raise the prices, Howie, because really, there are going to be people that are going to be saying, "Screw this for now. Let's see what they're going to do on July 1st." Switching over to the Islanders, what do you think of Matthew Schaefer of the Islanders?
I think they got a really good, terrific young defenseman there. He's got a lot of talent. He seems to have the right mental attitude, and they're using him in the right way. He can certainly skate, and it's amazing. They get the number one pick, then they pick up this kid, and all of a sudden, their team, the outlook of their team turns around. It didn't happen for the Rangers, but it's happening for the Islanders. They got some talent there. They're in a playoff run. They're going to be down, go down to the wire. If they make it, they could be a little dangerous. Sorokin's a decent goaltender. The other guy, Radek, or I'm not sure of his name, the backup goalie. And their defense could be a little shaky at times, but they're on the right track. I mean, they're going to be a dangerous team for years to come.
Yeah, no, they are. And a little bit about the Devils, your impressions on them.
Well, they need goaltending. I mean, they haven't had a solid goaltender since Brodeur. They're trying to use Jacob Markham. I'm not sure he's that great. Jack Hughes gets hurt a little too much now. He's certainly terrific. They picked up Andre Palat, I think was their last pickup. They have some players, but they've struggled. They've had a tough year. They've been a little up and down. Their power play has been inconsistent, and so is their penalty kill. So I don't know what's going to be with them. They'll probably make the playoffs, but where they go from there, we'll have to see.
So it's going to be like a crazy July 1st in Rangerland and in New York hockey, really. I mean, maybe not the Islanders, but I think July 1st is going to be very, very telling for the New York Rangers if they're going to at least compete next year.
Yeah, well, they have to use the off season, and we'll see where they go from here. I'm sure they're not done. I'm sure there's going to be a couple other moves where they unload some of these veterans. As the one of our viewers asked if Mika was going to be dealt. Again, Mika's got full control of where he goes. Can they convince him to waive his no trade? We'll see. That's a possibility, and so is Vincent Trocheck.
Yeah, it's going to be a roller coaster ride for Ranger fans. But something, Howie, sometimes this is good because you need a wake up call when you get too comfortable with just making the first round, and sort of like what they're saying with the Yankees. But I think the Yankees are just a different breed. I mean, they're not that far away from being a very good club, and the Rangers need a lot of help right now. I mean,
the Rangers had their window, and then the window closed. I mean, they had their chances to get to the final. They were in the conference final 2 times, and they couldn't get past Florida. So,
who do you like to go all the way again this year?
I think Colorado's very dangerous.
Yeah.
Florida's Florida. Tampa Bay looks like they're in a resurgence. So those are the teams to keep an eye out for sure. Montreal's improved, and Montreal's got is sneaky good. Watch out for Montreal.
Does Edmonton try to make it back?
They missed out. They've gone 2 times now, so I don't know if they can make it for a third. Again, Colorado's in their way. Colorado's better than them right now. But, we have to see what the playoffs bring. The matchups usually tell the tale.
Yeah. And well, look, I mean, I would gather July, yes, but I also think this trade deadline also is going to be pretty significant for the Rangers. And at least we'll know more or less which way this team is going to, what they're going to be flying for in July.
And Drury's job is on the line. There's no question about it. The owner's not happy that they're going to miss the playoffs again, especially at the prices they charge on a night in, night out basis.
Yeah, they if I were them, I don't think I'd raise the ticket prices this year for next year. That's for sure. And
Yeah.
getting on to the craziness, you know, there's some type of game on Sunday, as we all know. What do you see in the Super Bowl, Howie? What's your take?
Well, I'm picking Seattle. I like their defense, the way it's playing. And look, New England's been very good, no question. They have a pretty good defense too. I think it'll be a very good game. I think it'll be a really competitive game. I wouldn't be shocked if we see overtime. You know, these two teams are pretty similar in a lot of ways. You know, Drake May is first time around, certainly first time around for Darnold in the Super Bowl, but he has a little bit more NFL experience. And the Seahawks are on a roll. They played in a very tough division. They didn't have an easy ride. Look, New England also had a tough time. They had to go through Denver, into Mile High and beat the Broncos. You know, they got a great secondary. I think it comes down to who wins. Obviously, who wins the line of scrimmage, because New England's going to have to hold off that Seattle rush. They've got a rookie at left tackle. You know, we'll see. I mean, it's I'm a Chief fan, so I was spoiled the last few years, and I'm kind of like looking forward to watching this game without any emotional attachment.
Yeah. Well, also,
Definitely.
There've been some crazy hirings for offensive coordinators and, head coaches. What are your thoughts with the John Harbaugh to the Giants, and then the Jets picking up Frank Reich for the OC job?
Two good hires. I'm a Giant and a Chief fan. Those are my teams going back to the 60s. So I'm very happy with Harbaugh. I think that's something what the Giants needed. Matt Nagy's a pretty good offensive coordinator. You know, he didn't get to call the plays with Kansas City, but he helped Mahomes. And Frank Reich knows what he's doing on offense. I think that's a real good hire for the Jets. Jets still need a quarterback. So that's a big hole that they need to fill. But, to get a guy like Frank Reich is a really good hire.
Yeah, and if Aaron Glenn can focus on the defense, I think that will help him out a lot. Because when he, like you said, we had a problem with no quarterback. And then, Aaron Glenn's a defensive guy his whole career. And as a coach, he was a defensive coach.
Yeah, you got to hope he learned from his first year. I mean, he had some things go haywire on him. His second year, you hope will be better, because your first time around, it's not easy, especially, being the head coach of the New York Jets with their history. So you got to hope he learned from his first year. He got rid of practically the whole staff. He got a chance to bring in other guys. So you hope they make the right hires. And, certainly a lot of Jet fans hope they improve. I mean, it's been a disaster there for a number of years. They can't seem to get out of their own way. So we got to hope for both the Giants and Jets to improve the level of New York football. It's been terrible around here the last few years.
And how do you feel about Eric Bieniemy returning as OC for the Chiefs?
I like that. Mahomes, their offense took a step back last year because of injury and Travis Kelce's age. Now they're moving on. Kelce, is basically gone now. So
and also they had
from him. And they need more of a running game. They didn't have that last year. Pacheco got hurt too many times. Their offensive line was banged up. It starts at the offensive line. Mahomes can only be Mahomes when he gets time. And I think he'll rebound. I think too many people are counting them out, saying the dynasty is over. The Broncos had a great year and they came up short. I don't think they're going to repeat what they did this year. The Chargers need to improve. I think the Chiefs will be right back up there next year.
Yeah, no, and I've learned one thing with Andy Reid, especially when he was coaching Philly, never count him out.
I agree. Great. He's a Hall of Fame coach, no question.
Mm-hmm.
No, with 100%, you guys are right. So Howie, we're off season basically. What's in the crystal ball for Howie Karpin in 2026? What's going on? Anything you could tell us? Any whatever books?
Well, no books on the horizon, but I'm going into my 28th year as official scorer in New York.
Congratulations!
So I'm happy about that. It'll be good to be back. This is my 47th year in sports media. I'm
Wow.
still working at Sirius XM on a part-time basis. But, again, you're getting the itch. I'm sure you do, and you guys, for the baseball season, when we get to this point of the
Oh, yeah.
calendar, it's
yeah.
been a very cold winter, to say the least. And we're all looking forward to baseball again. And, again, with the prospect of a lockout in 27, I just hope that, that they can solve things and get things done to where we don't miss any time in 27. So savor this upcoming season. It could be the last full one for a while.
That's
Oh,
what I've
wow.
been saying on the show every day, Howie. When the fans get mad, oh, the Yankees have done nothing. They're running the same team, blah, blah. I said, listen, bottom line is savor what we've got, because we don't know what's going to happen after we crown a world championship, team on November 1st, October 31st. We don't know that, and that's horrible, to think that way. But yeah, and this year, Howie, we're going to be doing we're simulcasting with another creator. We're going to be doing just about all the Yankee games right here on Mania, and the Yankees, the ugly truth. And we're really looking forward to it. So we're going to have a lot of Yankee baseball on here. And anytime Mr. Howie Karpin can come on, it's a pleasure, and it's great. And even in some of the games, do some commentary, especially Wednesday night, because we have two main guys. We have Ken from the Yankees, the ugly truth, and also our own Evan, who's calling the Super Bowl on Sunday. They're going to be doing, and Wednesday nights, whenever you're available, we would love to have you on commentating and talking, or pre-game, post-game, whatever, because having Howie Karpin here just makes it brighter.
Well, I appreciate that, but my situation. I don't know if I can come on during the games, because I do work for MLB.
Oh, right. Right. I forgot about that.
But we'll see, on other times, maybe. We'll see how it works out this year.
Okay. And we did get a little surprise today. I think I mentioned it to you in a text, with Phil Cuzzy coming on and basically announcing that he retired.
Yeah, well, you got a scoop. Good for you.
Yeah, he told Major League Baseball, but he really he just wanted to go quietly. But he said, you know what, you're a paisan. I'm going to tell you. And like, we were shocked. I was like, what? And it was crazy, because I never I never asked the question like, what do you see yourself? What are you going to be doing? How long? But something told me, just ask him, when you're going to hang up being an umpire, what's in the future for Phil Cuzzy? And he said, wow, funny you should ask me that, because, and then I was like shocked. I mean, congratulated him, but that was just amazing. He wanted to go very quietly. And, I told him, I said, he is a very, very good umpire. There's no question about that.
Well, I'm sorry I didn't give you any scoop when you asked me that question, but you got a reporter's sixth sense. So there you go.
Howie, after a certain time, you make provisions and you make changes. But listen, what you do in the stadium this year, I'm hoping to see you. At least a few games out there. And Howie, and I think you'll be able to do this if you can. And I think I mentioned this to you. We are working on doing a big charity event for cancer research and leukemia and the Towers and Red Cross. And we are talking with Lindsay Berra, and hopefully we're going to put something together where we'll have a softball or a baseball game against whoever, ESPN or FAN or whatever, and it would be fantastic. We're going to do this while the Yankees are away, so that, and the weather's much better, and we would love it if you would join us.
Well, let me know when it is. Don't forget I do Met games too, so hopefully I can fit it into my schedule. I'm still playing ball, so I would
Well,
love
yeah,
to
I
play
know you're
ball.
still playing ball, so you're going to hit a couple of them deep to left field. We know that.
I don't know
There
about
you
that,
go.
but I'm 71 years old. I don't know how much power I have left. I do have sneaky power. That's what they say about me where I play.
You still have it, Howie. You don't lose it. Forget it. You don't lose. Especially now with grandkids, they're going to keep you young, man.
Hey,
They're definitely going to keep you young. But no, we appreciate, all the times that you come on, Howie, and really we can't thank you enough. And looking forward to dissecting the Yankee team with you before we start. So like this, we know you're able to come on.
Okay. We can do that before the season starts for sure.
Yeah, I plan on doing it like the Yankees. I would guess mid-March, hoping they may make a couple of moves. But we'll dissect first base all the way up to the last relief pitcher. So, we would look forward to you commentating, and whatever you can give us, we'd appreciate it always. Sean, do you have any questions before we let Howie go?
well, there was a question from Bronx Bomber.
Go ahead.
He said, "What do you feel about the Giants hiring Don Aponte?"
Who was that?
Don Aponte.
On what position? Offense.
I think he was a defensive
Don
coordinator or
Aponte.
assistant coach, something like that.
I'm not familiar with him too much. Sorry, to be honest with you, I'm not familiar with Don Aponte, and I know they were
Oh,
looking.
okay. No, the person's a new vice president.
I haven't heard the name. I can't give you any opinion on him. Sorry.
That's
All
all
right.
right.
One final one then. Howie, on the Knicks, any predictions for the playoffs?
Yeah, I hope they make the final. I mean, right now they look pretty good. They've gotten their act together. They're playing good defense. I think people are a little hard on Karl Anthony Towns, expecting a little much from him. As long as they're healthy. Right now they've had trouble with injuries. Hart got hurt last night, another ankle injury. The kid Diawara got hurt. I like Tyler Kolek. I mean, I think they play a lot better when he's in the lineup. They seem to move the ball around better, and then they have a little bit of offensive flow with him in there. So I'd like to see him retain his minutes even when Miles McBride comes back. But, if they're playing like this, they're going to be dangerous in the East. Whether they can knock off OKC in the West, you hope you get the opportunity. But if they keep playing like this, they're going to be a dangerous team in the playoffs.
You see a trade by tomorrow's trade deadline?
I'm not sure. I think they like what they have right here, and I don't think they're not getting Giannis. And to me, that doesn't make any sense to break up the team. If you want to try for him after the season. But at this point, and then there's reports now that the Bucks are not going to deal him because nobody's buying into what they're asking. So
I think
we'll see how that goes with a day left.
Yeah, I mean, the last I heard was the Heat made an offer for him, but I don't know how much closer to what. Like you said, the Bucks are asking high. Yeah,
they're asking for the moon. So I think they'll even wait till after the season and then trade him because then you can make your high demands, to a number of teams that see where they're at and maybe want to trade for him. I don't think the Knicks are not getting him right now. It would take too much to break up the team, and it really doesn't make sense to break up what they got going.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think the Lakers may make a move by tomorrow too. I think they're primed to do something.
Yeah, although if they trade Austin Reeves, that would be a mistake.
Oh yeah. No.
But I mean, they need a guy that can help with consistency. Because I mean, right now, Luka and LeBron carrying the team, and they're both older guys.
They need a defender. Their defense is weak. Luka's not a defensive player.
No.
And, as you said, LeBron is older, so they probably need a defensive guy, a guy in the backcourt who gives them some defense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aiken doesn't. To me, Aiken decent player, but he isn't fully developed to be that dominant center that you need on both. Those dominant centers that played both sides of the ball.
Yeah, I don't know if he's ever going to be that kind of player. He's been around now a little. He's certainly in a better spot with the Lakers, but he hasn't lived up to the billing.
Wow. Yeah, you're right. Tomorrow should be an interesting day. without a doubt. I guess the trade deadline would be 3 o'clock as usual or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. By the way, the baseball trade deadline is now in August, right? It's like August 5th this year.
Yeah, I think it's like August 3rd or August 5th.
Yeah, it's only a couple of days past what the usual was. You still can't make those. There's no more waiver moves after that, so that's a pretty strict deadline.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting, and I think the Yankees have their eye on that too. See what develops. They might make a minor move here and there, pick up a right-handed hitter. Which all these hitters they get are left-handed hitters. They're doing something. They're stockpiling. Something's got to happen.
Well,
I really believe that.
We'll see.
Yeah, but Howie, thank you so much. We really appreciate it, as always, and lots of luck on the next wonderful year that you're doing with it, what you're doing, and with the Yanks, the Mets, and all of that with the scoring, and we're always behind you, and we always. Howie Karpin is a fixture right here on NYMania all the time. So thank you so much, you and your family. God bless you always.
Well, thank you, and good luck with the show. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, Howie. We'll see you soon for the Yankee dissection.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Buddy.
Love to the family, Howie. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Take care. That was Howie Karpin, everyone. As always, the best of the rest. No question about it. He is the man. And thank you, everyone, for great questions. We really appreciate it. And Sean, some final thoughts before we say goodbye?
Yeah, no, guys. Thanks for you guys asked great questions, but thanks for being in there. We apologize for earlier, although that was out of our hand or out of our control, with the chat not being available earlier than the Phil Cuzzy interview. But we'll definitely try to make it up with another interview with him down the road.
Without a doubt.
But yeah, both of these shows were awesome today. You guys did a great job. And hey, whatever happens while tomorrow regarding the Yankees, or if some crazy NBA news, we'll let you guys know. Try to be safe with this whole Super Bowl and the way the weather's being. Just remember, if you guys are having to travel somewhere, plan ahead, drive safe, make sure you guys are prepared, and make it to your destination safe and sound.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. And tomorrow night, remember, folks, no morning show tomorrow again, because we have 2 shows back-to-back tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Remember, we have the beautiful actress Eugenia Guzmina. She's an actress. She's been in a lot of movies. She's also done, she's a comedian. So you're going to be laughing. She's ready for us. It's going to be a lot of fun, everyone. A lot of fun. And then right after that, we have the cooking show. We have the cooking entertainment, cooked to your highest content for the Super Bowl, with our new co-host also, Catalina Michio. So that is definitely going to be happening tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. And then after that, guys, if we got any breaking Yankee news or anything, of course we'll talk the Yankees. But tomorrow's going to be a lot of entertainment. Yankees make a move during the day, we'll be around. We'll definitely. I'll have a short. I'll have everything. But come in and Eugenia, she's fantastic. You're going to love her, just like you fall in love with all of our guests. That she is really looking forward to this. She really is. Let's make her comfortable. Ask some really nice questions, everyone. I know you will, because I have, you know how much I love you guys. So thank you. We will see you at the least that'll happen is we'll see you by 7. We'll probably come on around 6:45, 6:50 to get ready for Eugenia. And then right after that, we go into the cooking show and entertainment. So everything is entertainment tomorrow. So everything is featured as entertainment. YankeeMania, NYMania. So we're getting excited for tomorrow. What a week! My God, and it ain't over yet, guys. We have a lot of stuff coming on. We got to talk about the basketball show Friday. We have a basketball guest coming on. We'll talk all about that. Of course, that's all from Nitin and, of course, his sports team, his team. Nitin will be joining us soon, probably tomorrow, but Saturday that we have a treat. I don't know the time yet, but we're going to have a show with Nitin and, of course, the one and only Monty Schneider. She's there. She's got the Yankee book. Matter of fact, she sent me. Let me see if I can get this up for you guys. She sent me. Hold on. Let's see. It was a little while ago. Hold on. Okay, we got the Yankee book, and it's called Baseball Billy, Bunt the Dog, Game Day with the New York Yankees. I don't know if you can get to see that, everyone, but it looks awesome. And it's going to be in a store near you very, very soon. And she's going to come on and talk about it, everyone. It's a happening. She's amazing. She's fun. She's just everything with YankeeMania. So we're going to leave you with that. And actually, a few things here before we go, Sean. Let's go to Marnie.
I'm Marnie Schneider. I'm the author of Football Freddy and Fumble the Dog, Game Day in the USA, and also the author of Baseball Billy and Bunt the Dog, Game Day with the New York Yankees. And I am so excited to be part of the New York YankeeMania show. Thanks, everyone.
And let's go.
Hello, everybody. This is Bip Roberts, former Major League ball player, and you're watching New York YankeeMania. Enjoy. What a great show.
What is up, everybody? It is Evan from NYRANGERS. Welcome to the family. Welcome to the show. We have Yankees news, overall baseball news, basketball, entertainment, and everything else. Come along for the ride. It's music to your ears.
Hi, this is Bernie Kosar, NFL legend, national championship, University of Miami quarterback, Cleveland Browns quarterback, Super Bowl with the Dallas Cowboys, and finished up with the Miami Dolphins. I'm loving it, and you're watching New York Mania. You matter.
Hey, everybody, this is Noah Eagle from NBC Sports, and you're all smart. You're top-tier sports fans because you're watching YankeeMania, the best to get the rest.
Hey, everybody, it's Ian Eagle. You are watching YankeeMania, the best.
I'm Kayla Welsh, and you're watching YankeeMania.
Boy, everybody's out tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce myself or reintroduce myself. My name is Chef Nick. I am here for you. This is YankeeMania, NYMania for the entertainment purposes. Please smash, like, punch, stomp, jump on the like button, subscribe, share. Please do any domestic violence as you can in a polite way. You guys are the savages in the YankeeMania. I am your chef to your savage to your cabbage. I will shred you like coleslaw. Let's do this. You guys are my rock stars. You guys are my chefs. I love you all. Let's rock on. We got this, baby. Chef's kiss, baby. Let's do this.
This is Nitin Ramachandra from the NR Media. You're listening to YankeeMania. Like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more.
Hi, this is Ken from Yankees The Ugly Truth. You're on live with Joe at YankeeMania. Enjoy the adventure.
Hey, everybody, it's Jason from YankeeMania. Please like, share, subscribe. Only great things to come, and everybody, please join the fun because you're not going to want to miss out on this ride.
Wow. And that's just half of them. Thank you, everyone. I really, really appreciate it. You guys are the best. We had a nice long day together, everyone. And tomorrow's another day. Sorry that we're not coming on in the morning, but like I say, 2 very big shows later on in the day. Yankees make a move. Of course, we'll be here. Just you got to remember, everyone, big Yankee season coming on, and we will be on with the morning show, pregame, postgame, and of course the live play-by-play with Ken from Yankees The Ugly Truth. So much happening. And let's not forget, everyone, Sunday we have the Super Bowl. Evan will be making that call right here. What an adventure. What an excitement. We'll have the Super Bowl. We'll have a halftime here, guys. Things are happening, and we're going to have some fun. So without a doubt, Sean, thank you so much. You've been with me all day long. We really appreciate it. Think we deserve a little bit of rest because we got a big day tomorrow. And anything you could do tomorrow, Sean, we'd really appreciate it. I know you go back to work, but we appreciate anything. And thanks, Sean. You've been an inspiration and a lifesaver to this program, and I want to thank you personally.
Yeah, well, we're going far. And you've been a rock star, so
Well,
it's an honor and a privilege.
I can't do it without you and the staff. I can't do it without everybody in the chat and all of our beautiful, beautiful, beautiful guests. They're amazing, and I can't thank you guys enough. So hang in there. Thank you, Charles, for being with us all day. Michael, of course, Cruise Control. Oh yeah, you had something to say.
Charles, I want to give you a special shout out. Thanks for letting us know when we had the technical difficulties. You helped us to quickly pivot during that interview. So I just wanted to give you appreciation and a shout out. And guys, thanks for guys being able to pivot quickly to the emails and not getting mad because of that whole deal. I really appreciate you guys in the chat. You're all rock stars. So
yes,
but a special
also,
one to Charles.
Right. Thank you, Charles. Thank you for the emails. Thank you, Jason. You another inspirational guy. We appreciate everything that you're doing, and we're looking forward for an incredible rest of the week. Tomorrow's shows, Friday show, Saturday we probably live from the Super Bowl area. Sunday we're doing the live Super Bowl. Then I mean, it is amazing. It is truly an honor to serve you guys. We love it. We love every minute of it, and we won't trade this for the world. So God bless you all. God bless America. Let's go Yankees. Stay healthy, everyone. And if nothing else, we will see you 7 p.m. tomorrow with an incredible comedian and an actress, and it's all for you. So have a great night, everyone. And we'll see you tomorrow. Yankees make a move. Of course, we'll be on early. Don't worry. We will be back in the 9:30 spot real soon. Take care, everyone. Good night. Good night, Sean.
Good night, Joe.
Everyone. And thank you, Howie. And thank you, Phil Cuzzy, for a great day.